super excited to talk spoilers for Power Rangers. You want a spoiler-free review? Click the link right there, and you can check out the spoiler-free review. Right now, Matthew V Haynes, a.k.a. the Clockmaster, is going to join me to spoiler talk Power Rangers. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and joining me today, very special guest, Matthew V Haynes, a.k.a. the Clockmaster. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Durbin. It's so awesome to be on your channel, man. It's a great honor to be here, guys. It's really awesome. I'm doing really good.
Well, I'm super happy to have you here. And just recently, I got to go visit his channel. We did a really great video counting down some of our favorite comedies of all time, which was a really hard list to do, man. That was hard, but that was really fun. Had a lot of fun. Tell us a little bit about your channel and where we can find you.
So you guys can find me on youtube.com/Matthew V Haynes, or you can just type in Matthew V Haynes on YouTube. I do a lot of movie reviews, similar stuff to what Durbin does. Movie reviews, trailer reactions occasionally, trailer breakdowns, and pretty much anything that I can be creative with on my channel. So that's pretty much what I do.
Nice. Well, Matthew has come to join me today to spoiler talk Power Rangers. So all those things that I really wanted to get into more details about, we are going to do that right now. So what were some of your thoughts, some things that kind of stood out to you as you were watching this?
Well, right before Jason's entrance, what I wanted to talk about really too was the beginning, very beginning with Zordon.
Yes.
That was really surprising to me because I was not I was expecting the normal trend for if you guys watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the original series. I got a chance to watch a couple episodes before I went to see the movie. The normal entrance, the kids happy, jolly, and no, this kind of gives you more of an in-depth backstory as to the Power Rangers' origins and their purpose. So we got to see that the Power Rangers can actually take on, it can be different species. We have only ever seen them as being humans. So to see them as different species was a pretty interesting concept, and to see what happened to Zordon, it was a really good thing. I enjoy that.
I can't remember at all and I used to watch the original series religiously. Loved it so much. And I can't remember if Zordon had a history of being a ranger. And like you said, I'm so glad you brought that up because that was so interesting to me to see Zordon was the Red Ranger and that he led his team, and then they all died in some huge fight with Rita, and then Zordon basically sacrificed his body, but his essence got preserved in the ship, which was kind of fascinating, but basically sacrificed his body and his life to defeat Rita. And the thing that I thought was interesting, the way they did that, is it changed Zordon's character for me, but in a good way. Because in the show, Zordon is like just this head.
Yeah, it's this head, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's all wise, he's so smart, but this character had depth. Like when he wakes up on the ship, he's confused about where he is. 65 million years later, he's utterly confused. But then you just see he passionately wants to get his body back. He wants to go through the morphing matrix, get his body back. Kind of wants to be a Red Ranger, kind of wants to lead a team. Like, you're seeing that those instincts in him haven't quite died. And what I liked is you're watching these 5 Rangers grow together, but you're watching Zordon grow. Like, you're seeing he's smart, you're seeing he's wise, you're seeing he's got experience, and that way he's the Zordon we know, but you're also seeing he's frustrated, he's stuck, he wants to grow.
Yeah, it was a nice origin story.
Yeah.
And I said this in my spoiler-free review. This movie was a pretty much a really good origin movie. It really went into depth with these characters and their motives, and opposed to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, where the Zordon and Alpha 5 just like, let's choose these 5 kids, boom, they all teleported, and next thing you know, they're all skilled fighters and everything. No, I like that they showed them an origin, and they had a training session, and they went through different things, and especially like you mentioned with Zordon, you show his growth as this wise, mature guy. His first instinct is like, hey, I need to get out of here, because the last time we've seen him, he was dead. And I like how they were speaking their original language first before they transferred to English. That was a really nice touch. I really commend the creators for adding that in the movie.
Yeah, and I like that a lot too, because you watch any movie and all of a sudden all aliens speak English. Like, I watched Smallville and everything coming from another planet automatically speaks English. So it's really cool when you have something like this where you see that that's not their origin language. And then you see how they learn English really fast. Like, it was in the ship, it was in the Matrix, and he was able to download it. So, like, things like that were really interesting to me. The other thing interesting in that reveal in the beginning, so you know from the TV show, Rita has the Green Ranger power coin. And that's how she turns Tommy Oliver into a Green Ranger. She turns him evil and gives him that power coin and all that stuff. What I thought was interesting was in this, she was the Green Ranger.
Yes.
I didn't pick that up in the original show, but I thought that was a great touch for this movie, that Rita Repulsa was a Green Ranger who got power hungry and went rogue. I thought that just added so much. That
added so much of a, what I don't know if you want to categorize this as a plot hole within the Power Rangers series, because they never really explained how Rita really got the green power coin. At least I never came across it. They might have explained it, but I've never came across it. But like you said, it was a great addition to the story, making her a Green Ranger. And we all know that her being a Green Ranger, she's gonna give Tommy the powers of a Green Ranger. So I like that little addition backstory. When I saw her walk, I was like, wait a minute, why is the Green Ranger here, and why is this Green Ranger holding Rita Repulsa's staff? And I was like, wait a minute, that is Rita. Wow.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
But I liked it because that's such a great setup for the Green Ranger, who forever and always will be my favorite Ranger. And I know he turns into the White Ranger, and that's not cool, but the Green Ranger, I'm sorry, that's where it's at. He was my favorite. And so it was cool to see them give the Green Ranger, like, a history. And now, in that mid-post-credit scene where we see, Tommy Oliver, it's like such an amazing setup for a sequel where we could get into Rita trying to corrupt somebody to be the Green Ranger. And it's just like that setup for that was so brilliant. And as a fan of the show as a kid, I was so excited that they threw that whole Green Ranger backstory in.
And I remember everyone in the theater who recognized it. And because, to be honest with you, if I did not sit down and watch the original before I went to watch the movie and do some research, I would not have remembered Tommy. I totally would have forgot everything. So when I got there, everyone, they were like, no way. They were like, no way, no. And they were just clapping because they were hardcore fans at the theater there. And they were just so happy that we get to see all this on a grand stage. And it was a really cool experience, man. Opening night is always the best night to go.
Yeah. What's really funny is, as watching this, and I didn't realize how much a fan of Power Rangers I still was. I loved it as a kid. But as I got older, like, when I look back on the show and the 1995 movie, especially the 1995 movie, it is so hokey and so cheesy, it's embarrassing. It's like, it's just bad. But while I was watching this movie, I was surprised by how much of a fan I really still am. Like, I didn't even realize it till I was just getting into it. When they did those nostalgic throwbacks, like, where they had the shot with the Zords all running together, and all of a sudden you hear, go Power Rangers!
Yeah.
I was clapping and cheering, and I was like, that is so corny!
Yes!
But I love it!
I was thinking, oh my god, this is so corny, but it's so cool for me to not care.
Yes!
I
couldn't believe it
in any way. I was like, this is amazing. I love this. This is awesome. We're getting to see that, we're having this nice nostalgic factor of the Power Rangers, just go Power Rangers. Like you said, very cheesy and corny, but I just did not care. I did not care.
I will say, though, I gotta be honest with you, as much as I realized how much fandom still existed inside of me, one of the things that really helped with the places where it did get cheesy was how attached I got to the 5 Power Rangers. Like, the Blue Ranger Billy and Zach the Black Ranger were my 2 favorites in this movie. Like, I love Zach. He was such, like, a daring and hilarious character. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna jump over that gorge. You know what? He fell down. I'm just gonna jump down. Like, he was that crazy guy. And then you had that touching backstory between him and his mom. And then Billy, like, you find out he's on the spectrum. He was so likable. And for a guy who didn't understand anybody's jokes, he was one of the funniest Rangers in this movie.
Yeah, it was so, so many people made so many jokes, and you feel for Billy. And I was saying this in my spoiler-free review, is that most people never really cared about the Blue Ranger, really, in a sense. And this movie kind of twisted everything in making Billy someone you cared about. And I like to see the relationship with Jason and Billy, because Jason genuinely cared about Billy as a friend there. And, we got to see their friendship grow, and everyone, they all loved each other as friends. And I just loved, like you said in your spoiler-free review, the friendship that they had with each other in this film was just one of the most important things that stood out the entire time. It was just a great thing to see, an origin story of how these people developed their friendship and how they got to where they were, the different dynamic contrast and the different personalities each character had. So they did a good job with that.
I mean, like, on the one hand of this movie, they do not morph until the end.
Yeah.
But what really stopped that from being a true frustration from me was how much I really just enjoyed these characters. I enjoyed watching them grow in their friendship. I enjoyed the fact that they couldn't morph because they were all kind of selfish, that they hadn't opened up to each other, they hadn't really truly started to care for each other and like kind of become their own family. And it was really cool watching them grow into that. A scene where they're sitting there by the fire and they're like, you know what, let's do this, let's just open up. And like those intentional moments where they made decisions, we're gonna make this work. They made decisions, we're gonna be friends, we're gonna get past ourselves, and we're gonna get to this point of being able to morph. And so like the way that they played that up, I really truly enjoyed that growth. And so it made it worth it to me that it took till the end of the movie for them to become Power Rangers.
Yeah, because you actually feel that, hey, these characters earned it. And they're ready, because, like I said, and I use Mighty Morphin Power Rangers as a comparison. It's this show. Every episode was about 20 minutes long, and it was intentionally targeted for kids under 15 years old, 15 years or younger. So 20 minutes, they had to do a lot of things really quickly and stuff like that. So they got their suits right away, and they were already full formed. And I love that scene too, as far as development is concerned too, when you see your favorite character Zach, when he steals the Zord and he tries to use it, and it didn't work out at first because he wasn't ready. And I like that you said.
And it was cool because it showed how much the suits were important, because it's the suit that attaches to the
yes,
Zord.
exactly.
Like, cool.
And they made that such an emphasis. I mean, like you said, showing the growth of these characters, and like you said, sitting by the campfire and having, let's be open, let's talk. Let's really get to know each other. What's going on here, because we think we know each other, but we don't know anything. And how are we supposed to be a team if we don't know anything about each other? So like you said, I love being an origin movie. They took the time to really give each character a definitive backstory to kind of understand. You can see the relationship with Jason and his father, and why he feels this pressure being this school athlete, and you see Trini's going through stuff with her family, and Kim, I think her name's Kimberly, is going through stuff with her friendship, and Billy, he's having this conscience, he lost his dad, and so we're getting to see these in-depth stories of every single character, and it was just amazing. It added all up for the character development in this movie was great.
Yeah, like you said, they earned it by the end of that movie when they became Power Rangers. And then even in the moments when they're fighting those putties, and I think it's Billy, he rips the head off the one putty, and he's like, heads up, and he throws the head. I was like, no, you're doing it. You're doing the crazy Power Ranger puns. And yet, because I was so attached to these guys, like, I just found myself cracking up instead of cringing. So, like, I just thought a lot of that was so well done. Another character who surprised me, we talked a little bit about Rita, but like how we got introduced to her at Angel Grove, where she looks like that dead, decaying mummy, and then slowly comes, like, it was scary, man. I was like, and there were little kids in my theater, I was like, this is definitely not a little kid's movie.
Yeah, they were asking, some people were saying, is this Power Rangers too dark? And I was saying, I was thinking that their audience I don't think their audience is necessarily for children, really.
No, it wasn't.
It was
for us who were children when the show first aired, and now that we're more grown up, they're doing it for us.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like.
And like you said, with the mummy with Rita coming in, that was such a great way to introduce her, in my opinion, because in the original, we saw her, they were trapped in this bucket thing, and she destroyed, and they all came out, and they were all flamboyant, and they were all this, and her henchmen, and this was more like, hey, I was, buried. She was buried, from the meteor crashing and everything. It was prehistoric times, and she was buried for all these years. And they found her, and she was still attached to her stone. So it kind of really, it made sense of certain things. And you saw her as she was surrounding herself with more gold and feeding herself and whatever it is. You saw her get to grow as a villain. You get, become the beautiful but weird looking, villain Rita that we know. So I love that, like I said, and I'm saying it again, that they took the time out to really develop these characters.
I think if I had to go into negatives, the reason my negatives are few and far between is because I got so attached to the Rangers and the way they did characters that I just kind of was in it for the ride, and I had so much fun. On the one hand, I thought the ending was kind of a letdown when the Megazord just sort of slapped her into outer space, and that's it. Like, that concludes our first movie battle with the villain. But then, that still gets swallowed up in the fact that I so love these characters that when their Zords were being pushed into that pit and you thought they were all gonna die, which they're not.
Yeah.
But all those moments of attachment where they just we're all feeling for each other, and then all of a sudden the Zords combine. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean,
no
I had a little issue with how the Zords became the Megazord. I mean, I kind of wanted somehow like Alpha 5 to like call them on an intercom or something. But then again, that would have just been a cliche type of thing to do.
Yeah.
But like you said,
well, because they didn't train on that.
Yeah.
Nobody told
no one
them
told
they
them what
combined.
to do. Yeah. No one even told them what to do. They just kind of wing everything. And like you said, what I love, they're all looking out the windows of each other and they're like, hey man, this is it. We did the best we could. But this is it, man. We still got each other. At least we die together. And I remember, I think Billy mentioned something like that about everyone dying together or something like that. He said, "I'm okay with that." It was a touching moment, and I like to see, like you said, one of the things you keep mentioning is that I love to see the chemistry with all the characters on the screen. The chemistry was just so great. You actually feel like these people are real friends. You feel like these people are really friends, and I loved it. They all did a great job.
And I think in those moments where I could complain and nitpick, it's that chemistry that you felt between all of them that kept saving everything.
Like, right now, I want to go back and watch Power Rangers again.
I do too. I could go see it again.
It was just so good. It was just so good. Their friendship, that's when acting and like you said in your spoiler free review, a good script is also another really good reason for that too. When you have a good script, you have a good screenplay, and you have good actors to carry out that screenplay, it really all comes together perfectly.
So what would you rate this movie?
I would rate this movie from a grade scale. I gave it a B+ or A-, anywhere between a B+ and an A- because, like I said, there's a few little, I had issues with the pacing in the beginning of it, because I was just, and I guess it's just because I just was really excited to just see them morph. I just was waiting for that part. So because of that, the pacing was a little bit off for me. But other than that, an A-, B+ is where I'm at.
Yeah, I gave it an A- in my review because I was shocked by how much fun I had with it and how much I attached to those characters.
And one more thing I forgot to mention, did you notice that they threw in some old actors from the old Power Rangers?
Yes, the cameo of Tommy and the Pink Ranger, Amy Jo Johnson, when they're standing in the crowd with their cell phones and took pictures of the Megazord.
Everyone in my theater was like, no way. Like, it was just a great experience. When you're there on opening night, you're there with true hardcore fans.
Yeah. Well, what did you think of this Power Rangers movie? Let us know in the comments. While you're there, hit that subscribe button, become a Durbanian, and go over to Matthew V Haynes' channel, aka The Clockmaster. Hit the subscribe button on his channel, and if you haven't checked it out, make sure you check it out. Tell us a little bit more about your channel, where we can find it.
Yes, Matthew V Haynes, or youtube.com/Matthew V Haynes. You can either find it, hopefully Durbin puts a link. You can find it there, or you can go search up Matthew Haynes in YouTube. It's MatthewHaynes, and you will find me there. Like I said, I do a lot of movie reviews and trailer breakdowns and stuff like that. So looking forward to see you guys there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Matthew, for joining us today. Excited to have you on Durbania and do spoiler talk Power Rangers. So hit that subscribe button on both of our channels. Check out the videos we got on our channels. I'm Durbin. That's Matthew V Haynes. Thank you for checking out Durbania.